It has been 827 days since I've had an IBS flare-up. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been nearly 11 years since I first started experiencing symptoms with IBS and was finally officially diagnosed. So in today's video, I just kind of want to talk about my updated journey on how I'm doing now. I recently had like a complete full circle moment, and it really just made me feel incredibly grateful that I don't have to live like that anymore. I don't have to live in that fear, and I just wanted to share that with you guys today. If you didn't know, I do have a video talking all about my initial experience having IBS, like the symptoms that I noticed at first, how I was officially diagnosed, and some things that I had tried over the years to help with the symptoms, and eventually what I came across to help take all my symptoms away. So about 2 weeks ago, my husband and I went on a trip for our anniversary, and during the middle of the trip, out of nowhere, I just got this huge, overwhelming, grateful feeling over me when I started to realize how different my life is now, not having to worry about dealing with IBS versus how it used to be when I was consistently dealing with symptoms of it all the time. So like I said, my husband and I went on a trip recently, and we were gone out of town for several days, and normally for people, going out of town sounds like a great time, but when you have IBS, it is terrifying because you don't know at what point, if at what point, you're going to have a flare-up. You have to be very picky about what you eat. If you get stressed out, if you get really anxious, you have to be super careful with everything. And trying anything new is terrifying because you have no idea how your body is going to react to it. So for example, we were walking around the zoo, and I realized that I didn't have to take my purse with me. So typically I was someone who was like obsessed with taking my purse with me everywhere because I always was so worried that something was going to happen. I was going to have a flare-up, I was going to need my medication, and I wouldn't have it on me. So if you look back at like any of my old photos, any other trips that I've ever been on, you will see my purse either sitting in the background or on my shoulder, like at all times. I would never, ever, ever put it down. And if I couldn't bring my purse with me, I had this like little round pill container type thing that I would keep in my pocket at all times because I was freaked out. For example, my purse was like my best friend. It was like my safety blanket. I was so stressed out that something was going to happen if I didn't have it with me. So we were walking around the zoo, and I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, it's kind of nice not having to carry anything around. I can just freely roam and not have to stress about it. When I was thinking about it, I kind of felt like naked, like something was missing because it was always such a big part of me. And you can ask any of my friends, like they would always like make fun of me because my purse was always freaking there. The second thing that I noticed was when we were walking around, I wasn't constantly looking for the bathroom. Like normally whenever we go to a new area, whether it was just a restaurant or like something else, the first thing I would do was try to map out the restrooms, try to figure out exactly where they were so that I was prepared if I needed to go, because the last thing on earth that you want to have to do whenever you feel it coming on is trying to figure out where it is or having to ask someone where it is, because it is extremely uncomfortable and extremely embarrassing. But I'm just walking around freely and not having to stress about where the nearest bathroom is, or making sure that I'm staying close enough to it that I can run and I can get to it as soon as possible if I needed to. And that was so freaking nice. Like I literally didn't even think about it, but that used to be something that I would have to stress out all the time when I went out in public. So while we were out and about, we came across this place called Rise Pies. And we were starving, we wanted to try something different, and it was just like a pizza place where they cook the pizza for you, and I think it was like 120 seconds. So it was super, super fast. So we go to this little pizza joint, and I get a pepperoni pizza, which normally would have made my IBS flare up because of all the grease from the pepperoni, but now I can have it and not have any issues. So anyways, I order a pizza, I get the pizza out. By the way, best freaking pizza I literally have ever eaten in my entire life. The dough was amazing, the sauce was amazing, it just was so good. It was very expensive for a little tiny pizza, but oh my gosh, I promise I've never had a better pizza than the pizza that I had at Rise Pies. So whenever we were finishing up, I wanted to get a drink, and normally I would just drink water because I like water, and because when I first was diagnosed with IBS, I had to give up all my juices, I had to give up my pop, so I got used to just drinking water. So I was like, no, I'm gonna be wild, I'm gonna, step outside my comfort zone. I'm gonna get a blue Gatorade because I used to love blue Gatorades, blue Powerades, and honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time that I drank one because I had to give all that stuff up. It's probably been at least, I would say, 10 years since I've had a blue Gatorade. Like, if I drink pop now, it tastes horrible, but I think because I haven't had it in so long, the blue Gatorade tasted amazing. And I was like, well, maybe this is gonna make my stomach upset because that's what it used to do. Nope, didn't make it upset at all. I didn't feel any type of way after drinking it. And I kind of chugged it because it was freaking delicious. So then another moment that I had was in the morning when we were at our hotel and we were eating breakfast. And for breakfast, they had like eggs and sausage and cereal, but they also had several juices that you could choose from, and they had some pre-made smoothies that were made fresh for you that you could choose from. So I thought that was really, really nice. So I got some cranberry juice, which I love, love, love cranberry juice. Used to not be able to drink it. And I got a fruit smoothie, which is something I would have never been able to drink before. Again, I had zero issues. It kind of brought me back to, wow, like I'm able to live my life so different. Just these little tiny things are so nice to be able to enjoy in life again, when before, if I would have had something like that, I knew that it was going to be terrible, hours later, or maybe even a half hour later, depending on how my stomach wanted to act that day. So greasy foods, I used to have a lot of issues with greasy foods or fast foods, which I still don't really eat fast food anymore just because it's not really good for you anyways. But we did end up getting breakfast at Sheetz one day, and of course it's a little greasy, and normally I know my stomach would have hated it, but I had zero issues with it. I just had so many awe moments when we were on this trip, and like I said, it just made me feel extremely grateful to be able to feel the way that I do now versus having to still continue to live my life being dictated by what I can and can't eat or what I can and can't drink because my IBS is going to flare up, or putting myself in situations I used to not be able to put myself into because I would get too anxious, I'd get too stressed out, and my IBS would flare up. I have never been a more outgoing person than I am now. Doing YouTube videos, I've always wanted to do this, but I never ever ever was able to get myself to do it until I was able to get my anxiety under control, which is a lot of the reason why I think I had so many issues with IBS, social anxiety. One of the places that we ended up going was back to my hometown and just kind of going down memory lane, and we used to always go to a restaurant on Friday nights, and we loved going and getting chicken lips. And I know probably none of you guys are going to know what chicken lips are, but they're basically just like boneless chicken, except there's no breading on it. They're cut up in really small pieces, and you don't use silverware with it, you just use a toothpick. But they're so good, and they're very, very greasy. And I was like, I could never, ever eat those without my IBS flaring up. I mean, I would do it anyways because it was Friday night and I wanted to be bad and whatever, it was good. But I hadn't had those in years and I didn't have any issues. So again, it's just another reassurance to me that I really did it. I really was able to overcome this, and I never ever thought in my life that I would be able to say that. So I just want all of you guys to know that if you are still dealing with it, please don't give up looking for ways to overcome it, because I feel like I didn't realize how different I was as a person, how differently I lived my life, until I didn't have to live like that anymore. I didn't realize the things that I used to do and why I used to do it, because it was just kind of part of who I am. And now I'm able to really live the life that I've kind of been wanting to live the whole time, but my anxiety and my IBS really held me back from a lot of things in life. So for me, what helped me overcome my IBS, I will 1,000,000,000% credit to the ketones that I take. And I can't promise or guarantee you guys that everyone in the world is going to experience the same thing, because everybody's body is different. Everyone responds to things differently. But I can definitely tell you that nothing else I've ever tried was able to take away all of my symptoms. Literally all of my symptoms. And have allowed me to go, like I said, about 2.5 years now without having a flare-up. And I'm also able to reintroduce different foods back into my life. I'm able to feel less anxious, so I'm able to be more social. And I just completely, like I said, transformed who I am and how I'm able to act. And while we were on our trip, I even went 2 or maybe 3 days without taking ketones because I thought that I had packed more than I actually did. And obviously we're home, so I couldn't go get more. So that was my first time going like 2 or 3 days without ketones since I started taking them. I've definitely gone a couple days here and there where I'd miss a day because I either didn't have it with me or I would just be too busy and I'd forget and nothing happened. But I didn't really think too much of it because I'm like, well, it's only one day. But I've never gone 2 or 3 days without having it. And I was kind of nervous about it because, like I said, I've never gone without it now that I've been on it for so long. And I didn't have any IBS symptoms. Nothing flared up. But the only thing that I really noticed was that I wanted a chocolate so bad. I mean, I love chocolate and I still eat it. It's not that I like gave it up or just quit eating it altogether, but I never like really craved chocolate or really cared about like a dire need to have it. So I definitely knew that it's also really helping with my cravings for sugar and my cravings for chocolate. I did record some stuff for our anniversary trip, so if that video is not up already, it should be the next video up that's up next week. That's basically the whole situation that I've been talking about. But yeah, my life is a lot different from how it used to be. I was prescribed Labotal and I had an active script for that for like ever, and that's basically what I would keep with me. Like when I was freaking out about my purse, it's because I had my Labotal in there. That's the only thing that would make it stop and go away. Otherwise, it would just continue and continue and continue and continue. I kept it for a little bit open just because I was like, well, I don't know if this is really going to work or how long it's going to stay for. Maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe I'm just getting lucky. Maybe it's just in remission or something. I don't know. But I let that script run out, so I haven't even had an active script for that. I also was taking peppermint oil, which before I found exogenous ketones, that was the best thing that I could possibly find for myself to alleviate some of my symptoms and prevent so many flare-ups. So I took an enteric coating capsule of peppermint oil, and what I personally did was I just took 2 in the morning, and I still had my IBS flare-ups, but they weren't as frequent as they had been before. So I'd probably say I maybe cut it in half, but I quit taking the peppermint oil in December of 2017 completely because I wanted to make sure that the ketones were actually doing this job for me and it wasn't just luck or luck and peppermint oil. So yeah, I haven't been on anything at all probably since about December 2017 then, and it's been just strictly ketones. I started them in May 2017 and it is now Friday, August 23rd, 2019. It has been 827 days that I've been on ketones, and it has been 827 days since I've had an IBS flare-up. So that is just my little update for you guys. I know people ask me all the time for an update or what is my life like now? Am I still IBS free? Am I still taking ketones? What are my symptoms? Am I having symptoms? And the answer is no. I haven't dealt with constipation. I haven't dealt with diarrhea. I did have a little bit of like stomach gurgliness at first for a while, but I really haven't noticed that. I don't feel any of the crampiness. I don't feel any of the pain. I don't get the backaches. I don't get the stomach aches. I'm a hell of a lot less anxious than I used to be, like an insane amount. Like pre-ketones, if I was filming this video right now, I would have like a sweat mark like down here, and here, I know you can't feel it, but I have absolutely no sweat. Like, it is totally different. I even elected to have homeschool gym because of how anxious I was and how bad it made me sweat. So that just gives you an idea of how my anxiety was. So don't give up, don't stop trying. If you want to try what I tried, you absolutely can. If you find something else that works for you, please help me help everyone and share it in the comment section below so that hopefully we all together can beat this horrible, terrible IBS. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you guys. Please let me know by hitting the like button. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in my next week's video. Bye guys!